Ready
Let's
when
go.
you are.
Let's go. Welcome to stage 19, Unpack the Tour de France with the Stanley Street Social. My name's Alex Clements and I'm here with the former under 23 champion of the world to preview the time trial, Campbell Flakemore. Welcome, Campbell.
How many beers did you have at the park, Albie?
Only one, because
That's good.
I forgot about this. I
Good.
apologize for the late time slot, as I just forgot. Anyway, we're here, 6 p.m.
Let's go.
Last night, stage 19, a lot of unknown.
Yeah.
How the race was going to pan out. And to give you a hot tip, I didn't pick Sam Bennett to be in a move.
Yeah, well, we didn't really know which way it was going to go. We tipped Bunch Kick. And I'm glad it wasn't actually, because that run in the last 10k, they were doing 70k an hour, narrow, windy roads. Can you imagine? You imagine teams fighting for the front, GC teams trying to be in the front, sprint teams. It would have been super messy. So for the sake of that, I'm glad we saw a small group break away. And it wasn't even like the guys that were in that move. You expect that sort of move to be in the final 10k of Roubaix or Flanders. It was all the big boys were there, and it was kind of exciting, I guess, for a little bit until it wasn't.
Yeah, it was really exciting coming into that final when we're like, all right, we've got a race on our hands here, and then it was kind of like, oh, that's the end of the line. Jim Mockowitz was sitting at home going, you know what, CCC might have one last life. One there, he's thinking about next week. He's got the pitch deck out. He's trying to sell this sponsorship, and he goes, you know what? Look at the boys winning the Tour de France stage, but no, it just ended. It was kind of like that's it.
They had their two boys there that they wanted. I mean, a few teams had multiple riders as well, but Trentin and GVA. Did we really expect them to be collabing in that finale?
No. Has Trentin announced where he's heading?
No, I haven't seen anything. Maybe he has, but I haven't not seen any news on that.
UAE, according to Pro Cycling Stats, our point of reference for all data.
Thanks to them.
Interesting. But yeah, I think that sums up the last year at CCC with those two just going head to head.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Just pulling things back a little bit. So the break formed out of the intermediate sprint.
Yeah, well, Remy Cavagna was away. He was away early, and then there was a small group behind him, and they kind of gave up. But yeah, it was after that. It was kind of on the way to that intermediate. After the intermediate, things started heating up, and Luke Rowe was aggressive. It was nice to see him actually have a crack and be able to do something. This was the sort of stage that would suit him. But yeah, the other guys that got involved, Crow Anderson, Stuyven, Greg Van Avermaet, Nason, Sam Bennett, Sagan, Jack Bauer. Like, it was just strong boys there. And Eddie the Boss and Cockard tried to get across a little bit later in the piece. It was all too late for them. They were never getting there. And I mean, the move where Crow Anderson went, it was over. As soon as he got 10 seconds, it was all done and dusted.
You saw it go though, and you're like, okay, yeah. You thought there was a lot more to come.
I mean, as a neutral, you wanted attacking all the way to the finish, and I thought we were going to get it. But you're right. I mean, with still multiple guys there with teammates, you would have expected, a few guys to amalgamate forces and bring him back, or at least try. But
notably CCC and Mitchelton,
yeah, straight away. But to be fair, I mean, Trentin, he went on the attack. Everyone was on the limit. Crow Anderson went. GVA's got to follow, doesn't he? He has to.
Yeah, I know. We normally lean towards the other way on this podcast. Traditionally, big GVA fans, not so Trenton fans, but
Mm.
Trenton was doing the job. He went
Well,
hard on that climb, going, you know what, we need to get rid of Sam Bennett here, which was the right moves to do.
mm. But it probably should have been GVA doing that softening up, really.
Yeah.
GVA going on the attack, following moves, trying to create a split, leave it for Trent in to either sprint, or if GVA was dead on his feet, then start going in the moves. But I mean, yeah, let's just not look at them. Let's look at Mitchelton as well, and
Second again.
all the other boys as well, like Nason, Stuyven, Luke Rowe, probably looking at these guys, and Dries Devnans was there as well. I mean, maybe they were happy to see like the major points get taken. Probably not, considering that there was a stage run on the line. So it was just a bit odd to see, the second attack, 10K to go to the finish. But again, he was so strong, Crow Anderson. Oh my god, like he just looks like a madman when he gets away from a group like that and just gets on a mission.
Yeah, exactly. It was interesting around the Dakota Quickstep number, wasn't it? Like they can't say, "Oh, we're just defending the jersey." He picked up the intermediate. He's one of the hot favourites for to tomorrow night. Like the green jersey's done.
Yeah, I think the green jersey's done. I mean, I'm not sure what the limit is tonight for the TT. You're going to have to ride hard to still make time cut tonight, but I don't think they're going to have to worry about that too much. But I mean, the green jersey's done and dusted, and yeah, I thought they might have tried a little bit harder to win a stage, because he was the quickest guy there.
I would have cleaned up
there, but at the same time, it was a pretty hard last hour. So he was riding hard to get into moves, following Sagan. So he might have had nothing left in the legs for the sprint. So maybe he just said, "Don't worry about it. We're not going to know."
How disappointing too for Mezgec.
Ugh.
Fell for him second again to the same guy. Oh no.
Robin McEwen, he made like a real funny call at the end of the commentary. He was like, he'd be telling his friends back home what happened, and he's like, "Oh, I got beaten by Crow Anderson." They're like, "Yeah, we know what happened today." But yeah, I mean, he'll be kicking himself. Mitchelton will be kicking himself. They came here for stages. They didn't get any. Look, not going to win the TT tonight. They're not going to win the sprint tomorrow. Maybe Mezgec just gets up for a mad one tomorrow. But that was a big chance for them. And I mean, Mezgec, he was the quickest in that group. So super flattering for him and the team.
Anything else to note?
Sunweb, incredible.
You've got a question here directed towards you.
Oofed.
Around Sunweb being incredible.
Well, don't worry, Doc. I have not forgotten about your question, mate. I've just seen that now.
What's his question?
He said, yeah, are Sunweb the best, or, have had the best tour besides Jumbo?
Yes. It depends what your reference point is, I guess. It's like when we're doing the rest day 2 preview. It's like, we didn't expect much from Direct Energy, but we expected a lot from Ineos. But they are, especially with what they came with.
I think that's the thing, up against expectations. If they had got one stage, it would have been like magic, full credit. But they've got 3, all opportunistic, all taking the bull by the horns, just getting stuck into it and just being the strongest guys, really. Maybe there was a little bit of sitting up in that second group, which gave him the win, but still had to be there. Still had to
win
be
the bike race.
Still had to be strong enough to attack when he did, and just don't know what they were thinking, really. I mean, they saw what he did in Lyon a week ago, and he did it again. So bizarre from those guys in the back. But anyway, I think Sunweb have been absolutely incredible, and I don't want to listen back to what we said at our pre-tour podcast about them.
We questioned them a lot. On to tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
The time trial.
A lot to get through.
A lot to get through. A lot of unknown.
We're going to go with the questions off the top.
Yep. Off the top, 1B question mark. Delay by 1 hour indicates otherwise. No, I was on my way there, and then transport time home, so it was actually only 1B. Scott Russell, get on with it. Call the TT tonight. Do you want to start with your punt?
Yeah, Roglic. Roglic will win the time trial. There's every chance this team can go 1, 2, 3 in the TT. Realistically, Wout van Aert and Tommy D as well. Tommy D, he's racing for the stage, but he's also racing for top 10. He can probably, I mean, he's locked up top 10, but it's possible to mow down Rigo and Adam Yates to jump up a few places. So he's got something on the line, and we know Wout van Aert can TT, and it doesn't matter if it's a little bit uphill. That's not going to worry him. So every chance we see a 1, 2, 3, but I'm not going to go hard on that punt, but I will go on Roglic to win the stage.
You?
Where
do you think? Well, I can't agree with your expert advice. I think I don't know. I was sifting through, hunting for someone that's good against the clock, but hasn't been doing as much work, hasn't been in the jersey, hasn't been hunting all tour, but you just can't see it. You just can't really see where it comes from.
Well, normally you would see something like that, but given the nature of this profile, it's a lot different. Uphill TT, it completely throws out the proper rulers.
Bike change. The next question from Nathan Ross.
Yeah, there'll be a bike change, big time. I'd be surprised if people don't. I guess the tricky part is, where do you do it?
Have you ever done a bike change?
I've never done a bike change in a time trial before. And there are some certain rules around this bike change. It has to be from the team car, so you can't have a mechanic waiting at the side of the road with your bike. It's got to be taken from the team car, and I think there's some rule that you can only be pushed for 5 seconds by the mechanic too. So there's going to be a lot of discussion around where they should do it. I mean, obviously you don't want to be doing it right at the bottom, because you'll be able to get a bit of momentum. So maybe a little bit before, maybe even at the top of that that climb, 24K in, you might see it there.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of downhill and get a little bit of a run at the climb. That's probably going to be the most likely point. But it'll be TT bike to then, and then maybe just a stock standard road bike. Not even TT bars on the road bike, because looking at the climb, it's severe. Lots of mileage there, above 9%. So there's not a whole lot of aerodynamic advantage. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I think Roglic will win. And I am also hopeful that Richie Porte can claw back. What is it? The minute 39 on Superman.
Yeah, Porte at 3:06.
Yeah,
Superman at 1:27. What you say? You're hoping, but are you confident?
Well, I'm not saying that I'm confident, but it's possible, and I'm hopeful. And I think Richie Porte will probably be the same. If this was a pancake flat TT, you'd probably say yes, but it's not, which plays into the hands of Superman a little bit. But we also talked about climbing in a TT versus climbing in a race against others. It's a little bit different. It's still a TT. You've had how far before the climb? High 20s, 28K or something like that. So you've got a fair bit in the legs already. And I think he can. I think he can claw back that time and get onto the podium.
He gained confidence too from the way that he drew the grip back after his puncher.
Yeah,
it just looked like this guy was on a mission. This guy was not not sulking, but not like, this is just all a bit too hard. This guy wants the podium.
Yeah. Just looking at some of these questions.
Where do you find a market?
For teams
good.
butchering a bike change? Well, I mean,
it's got to happen. Someone's going to do it.
I mean, Trek maybe they didn't have a mechanic on the side of the road in the gravel. That's a big cock up, almost cost Richie his chance of a podium. I'm just looking at some of the other likely sort of teams that might cock something like that up. Movistar have no real reasoning to say them, but maybe them. I don't know why. Looking at some of these other questions. Yates is my pick. I don't mind it. You were looking for some value on the market, Albie, and Yates is probably that point of value if you are looking.
Yeah, long range. It's awfully hopeful. It's awfully hopeful, but yes, Tom, I hope so. I hope so.
I'm just looking at some of his previous, like he's done some good TTs. 6 at the Dauphiné TT last year, 26K.
I got really excited when I got my Yateses confused, and I thought it was actually Simon who won the Nice TT.
Nice TT. That was a bizarre result sheet. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to reference that for.
Do we? Alex's question here: the Pog is the TT champ. Anything could happen. Do we read too much into that? No, it was early doors, but
yeah, I mean, there is something there, but personally, I'm not reading too much into that. It was a couple of months ago. It was a 1-day TT. I don't think it was even that. I don't think it was too far either.
Yeah, it's getting it up now.
Yeah,
I think it was.
I know.
Yeah, it was only 16K, and it was literally a climb.
So
they did. I remember them doing a bike change, but it looks like you could ride on your road bike.
Yeah, like a 16K climb for Pogačar is money. It's bread and butter. It's a 1-day TT. This is day 20, and it feels like, I don't know. It just feels like Pogačar is fading just a little bit. Just
although
a little bit.
But he was fading at 2,200 meters when Lopez was on the hunt on his home turf. That's the only time we've seen him kind of off the mark.
Just a little bit. I mean, the TT that I like to reference when we're looking at these two is the Vuelta last year, 36K, stage 10, so a bit of racing in the legs. The average speed was 46, so it's much quicker than what the average will be tonight, I'm probably going to say. And Pogačar lost 1:29 on that stage. So I prefer to look at that as a reference point rather than the 1-day national championships a couple of months ago.
Win?
I think he did win that time trial. Yeah, I think he won that time trial. And it's also worth noting that Pogačar was also on the GC, so he was working hard on that time trial. So yeah, who else was there? Patrick Bevan, Cavagna. So yeah, Roglic won by 25 seconds.
Yeah.
So
the other thing to note from that TT, because we've got no real data on Lopez v Port, is that Lopez was 2 minutes off Roglic that time trial.
Yep.
Which, if you include the time, the climb, reduce the distance a little bit. Some rough maths of 130.
It'll be mighty close. It'll be mighty close. Does Carapaz ride the climbing bike the whole stage? Possibly. I think that's also something worth discussing. Is that that KOM? It's still up for grabs, and it's time from the bottom to the top. So it suits Carapaz. He can cruise. He can cruise the first bit of the TT, and then just tear shreds off the climb, as where Pogačar is going to have to be going deep the whole way. So it's probably weighing into Carapaz to win that jersey, but it's not super rock solid.
We haven't really seen those two go head to head as Carapaz has either been in the move, but it will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how much fatigue that first section plays when it does come to the climbing data.
Yeah, Doc Johnson, he's got the quality comments coming in. 1, 2, 3 for Jumbo. Ooh. Is there some other smokies, Alex, that you're looking at, or it's not like we talked about a bit earlier? There's not really that sort of TT.
There's no value there. There's no value at all. The only thing which is like a huge smoky, which we've touched on, is Yates. Bookman.
I don't mind. Nah, Sharkman and Kamna. I think there's potentially a little bit of value there.
They've been doing an awful amount of work.
They've been doing a lot of work. Kamna is former under-19 world champ, won a stage. I think Sharkman was second twice at under-23 worlds. So he can TT, but whether they're interested in going for it tonight is a completely other thing. They're probably just thinking about Paris tomorrow night, really.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, not really at the same time.
I'm sure there'll still be some sort of circuit. Surely.
Within the bubble.
Yeah.
Adam's comment here, the two-man, Wood Van Aert to win. Imagine if he does win.
It's not that ridiculous.
No, that's what I mean. It's not ridiculous. The guy literally takes the piss out of the sport. If he does win.
I was just thinking he's going to be still on the road when Roglic is going to be out there. So he could have done like a full gas effort, sent some messages back to Roglic about the course, but he's going to be out on course while Roglic is still out. So forget about all of that. With Van Aert, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But I'm still going to stick with Roglic.
Cool.
And Port
to come.
Port to be in the top 5. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to take back a minute 44.
He's going to have to be flying. Like on a mission.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you having a watch tonight, Albie? The favourites are off late. They're off at after
that's
1
the only
o'clock
problem.
Eastern time.
Is it kind of a bit boring at the start?
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. It'll be a nice watch. But I mean, the TTs aren't the most exciting days to watch, but they're probably the most important.
Isaac, how much is Caleb hating the TT right now? He just wants to be rolling in the Champs-Elysees and wiping the sleep out of his eyes after rolling down the
Pretty
ramp.
much.
I don't. Yeah, I think he just has to ride it.
Yeah. Well, I think there's 4 Lotto Soudal guys off altogether from the start, so they'll probably just get a team time trial going.
Team up.
Yeah.
Would teams that have aero bikes, i.e. Sunweb, Cervelo, get much benefit out of using a TT rig on this course? I don't know.
I mean, we're not tech guys, but I think so. I think there's a lot of benefit in a TT bike compared to an aero bike.
Yeah, especially when you got 30k.
Yeah,
we're not talking 5k at the start, like 30k of flatland relative. Like you want the TT rig out.
Yeah,
and especially if you know at the bottom of that climb, it'll be a weird thing though, jumping off the TT bike onto the road bike. There'd be a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. And then you're on this different setup. The bike feels different. You're in a different posse. You've come out of this awkward kind of 10 to 15 seconds off the gas completely.
Yeah,
I don't know, it'd be an interesting experience.
I'm sure the guys like Roglic would have done simulations of this,
trialed and tested.
Yeah, I think they would have done it before, and I don't think it'd be too much of a concern for them.
Yeah, but yeah. So to answer Tom's question, I think yes. You do take the TT bike.
Yeah, big time.
You'd prefer to take the TT bike the whole way for mine.
Yeah. Or
you had
dragging a disc up that 11% would be pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, Wout van Aert's going to have the slickest bike change of all time.
Mm.
You can just see guys just like slipping on the pedals, trying to clip back in. Wout van Aert's just going to be boom, straight in. I'm gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I think there'll be some kind of carnage. There'll
be some carnage. Someone will blow up. Something will happen. These final day, second last day TTs normally throw something up, so we can expect some sort of changes, and probably someone from the clouds is just going to come out and win.
Torch this TT. All right. Thanks, Gamble. Thanks everyone for listening in. We'll be back at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Roger.
Roger.